hello, and thank you for allowing me to be on this platform to share with all of you. Now, let me give you some background on why I'm such an expert on the inner critic and how you can gain strength from the stories they tell you. In 2014, I was in a car accident. I used to run political campaigns. I used to write for other people. But in 2014, when I had a car accident, I obtained a traumatic brain injury. I lost 4 areas of my brain: my frontal lobe over my left ear, the back of my head that messed with my eyes, and my 2 hemispheres disconnected. And what happens when that happens is your body shuts down. Basically, I couldn't walk, talk, write. I was trapped in my own brain. So what happens is I heard perfectly full sentence structure in my head, but no one else understood me. The only thing I really could see and hear and feel were the inner critics in me telling me that I wasn't good enough. Now, that went for a year and a half. And after that year and a half, and basically, I'm saying that, like, with all these people, everyone being trapped in their houses, I know exactly what it feels because I was trapped in my head. So take your house or your apartment or whatever domicile you live in and condense it down to the space of your brain. That's where I was trapped. So been there, did that, survived it. And that's why I want to share with people that that inner critic, the stories that it tells you, maybe multiple inner critics in there, the stories they tell you, they're not really there to hold you back and tell you you're not good enough. Those voices, what I found, are energy. They're basically what's telling you, do you really want that? Do you really believe that? What I found when I came out of basically my trance a year and a half after my car accident, and I still fight with this, I still struggle with it, because inner critics don't really go away. You just learn how to compromise with them. Or, as I like to say, you have to embrace your inner toddler. And why is that? Well, who has a child? Or who has ever seen a child? Who has ever heard of a child? Well, whenever you put a child in any room and you say, there's a cookie on the top of the shelf, it's not yours, you're not allowed to get it, don't touch it, what will a toddler want to do? Exactly. A toddler will go for it. The toddler, you'll come back in the room and they'll be sitting there eating the cookie. And you won't even know how in the world they got it, but there they are. Now, as we get older, we realize, why don't we do that anymore? Why do we allow outside circumstances to stop us from doing whatever we want? Right now, outside circumstances say, stay in your house, don't go outside unless it's essential. Well, without that toddler inside of you that says, well, I can find another way to do what I do, right? We're entrepreneurs, we're speakers, we're coaches, whatever field we're in, embrace that inner toddler. The inner toddler will listen to those inner critics inside of your head that say, you know what? The world shut down and you're not supposed to be doing what you do. Yeah, you're a speaker, but the world doesn't need speakers right now. Oh, you want a stage? Well, no, there are no stages anymore. Matter of fact, there may not be another stage for a year or so. And you listen to those kind of voices in your head and you do, oh my gosh, I'm done. I have nothing left. What am I going to do? If you allow those voices in your head to do that and you succumb to them, what's going to happen to your business? But if you embrace that inner toddler in you and you do, you know what? I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you what I can and cannot do. Find another way. I like to go back to my what I learned and what I shared in my TED Talk. Yes, I did a TED Talk when I came out of my trance in 2015, I think it was, 15, 16. I did a TED Talk, and it was called Eat, Drink, and Be Merry. I ended up writing a book about it. It's about my mother-in-law, Eat, Drink, and Be Merry. My mother-in-law and all the things I learned from her. And 3 lessons that I shared on my TED Talk was, you have to eat dessert first. Enjoy the little things in life, which is always a good thing. The other thing is, you always have to have a plan. And even in your plan, you must have variations of that plan. Now, where did that come from? Well, I used to be a Baldrige examiner. I used to do examinations. I would go into a company, see the entire picture, and then look for bottlenecks and things of improvement inside of a company. So we always had to look for a disaster plan. we are in a disaster plan of your business right now. So this is a good thing. Basically, what you have not thought about is, what do I do if this happens? What do I do if X happens? In my case, I saw in my brain, I'm a speaker. I'm an international speaker. I travel a lot. I do most of my business on stage, and then I pick choice clients that I will coach one-on-one. My disaster plan is, what happens if I can't go on stages anymore? We have to think about things like that. Or in my case, what if my brain injury comes back full force and I can't do that anymore? Where's my other option? And then of course, the third one that I absolutely love, it's a quote by Ellen Glasgow. And it says, the differences between a rut and a grave are the dimensions. If you are doing exactly the same thing all the time, basically what you're doing is you're building the dimensions of your grave. You must get out of your comfort zone and step out of it. Well, what's happened now to all of us around the entire world is we were taken out of our comfort zones, all of us, instantaneously. And what happened is, who adjusted, who shifted, who pivoted? Those who are pivoting are still moving forward. Those who are stuck building the dimensions of the grave don't know what to do. And that's why it's so important that people like us, like entrepreneurs and speakers and coaches, step out more. Why do we need to step out more? Well, because the world needs us. Now is the time to put on your red capes and do dun dun dun, I'm here to save the day, and be that positive force that the world needs to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Now that I've said all of that, the most important thing is you. If you are out in the world spreading joy and turning on lights and giving encouragement, you're filling everyone else's cup. That is why this is the topic I chose, about gaining energy from that inner critic inside of you. Because if you keep filling everyone else's cup, your cup is empty. You must fill your pitcher so that you can fill your cup and everyone else's cup. And it all starts in here, in your mind. The inner critic voices that are beating up on you, you must be able to control or guide or gain from them, because a lot of them are out and playing. So embrace your inner toddler. Find that stubbornness in you that says, no, I'll prove it to you that such and such can happen. Now, one of the people that pretty much saved my life after my brain injury, I have the brain injury. Now, what I didn't tell you is right after that brain injury, I started traveling the world. I went to India speaking. I won an award in India for Inspirational Woman of Excellence. I went to Dublin and spoke. I've been around the world. And in my world travel speaking on big stages, I came home one day and found out something's wrong. I soon found out I had breast cancer, and they gave me 3 months to live. I know that sounds outrageous. That's 2 major things like that happened in a row, but that's what happened. So all that work I did with that inner critic that I was fighting for, and I wrote a book about it, I had 3 months to live. Now, what do you do when you're told you only have 3 months to live? Do you hide, or do you come out full force? I came out full force because what the heck? 3 more months to live. I better do everything I wanted to do on my bucket list. So I wrote a second book called It's Not Luck, Overcoming You. And I walked people through that inner critic process that I was using in my own head to get over those inner critic voices that kept telling me I wasn't good enough. Yeah, you lost your voice because you're supposed to shut up. You lost your ability to walk because the world doesn't need you. Go away. Spoiler alert, I'm still here. It's been well past 3 months. Now, the woman that helped me, let me get back to that. The woman who helped me through that is Byron Katie. If you ever watch me, if you follow me on any social media, if you connect with me in any way, I quote her a lot. And the reason why is Byron Katie, I think the first quote that got me by her is, she says, if you think the cause of your problem is out there, you'll try to solve it from out there. Take the shortcut and solve it from within. Everything starts from inside of you with that inner critic voice, and making friends or, using it as your device to kick off of and jump higher or bounce from and become more. We need you to fill your picture by finding basically what is the source of the I can't, or I don't want to's, or I'm not good enoughs right now, or I'm not equipped, you know, the lacking mentality. We are all beautiful, loving, amazing creatures, and we were all built that way, right? Fill your cup by filling your picture, by finding what is in your head that's holding you back. So whenever something comes into your head or a situation comes up and you do, I'm not good enough, I'm out, I'm just gonna go get another job, I don't need to do this entrepreneur thing, I want you to ask yourself 4 questions. And Google Byron Katie, The Work by Byron Katie. It's called the inquiry process. And if you connect with me, I can send you the page, because I'm just giving you the 4 questions, but there are actually more to it. And if you get very good at the inquiry process, you can walk yourself very quickly through anything that is an obstacle in your life. I use it all the time. I use my book all the time, but I've come through a lot in the past 5 years. So the first question is that statement true? I'll say, I'm not good enough, I shouldn't be on big stages. That's why this entire pandemic happened, so it takes me off the stage, right? Is that true? Well, I think it's true. Well, then the second question is, can you absolutely know it's true? Well, no, I can't absolutely know it's true. It's kind of silly for me to think a pandemic is the one reason that my business is failing or I can't get on stages. Well, then 3, how do you react when you think that thought? How do I react when I think that I can't go on big stages because the pandemic happened so that it wouldn't let me go on stages anymore? Well, 1, I think I'm being really silly. And 2, why would I even want to think that? I mean, I feel horrible when I think that. Well, then number 4, who would you be without that thought? Who would you be without that thought of feeling horrible? Well, I'd be a very happy human. So I just answered my own question. I won't think that thought. Move on. So connect with me and look up The Work by Byron Katie. It's called the inquiry process. It will walk you through so much so that you can be able to fill your pitcher, so you can fill all those other cups out there in the world that need us so badly today, and still have enough to fill your cup. And thank you so much for the time that I've had with all of you, because I sorely, 1, needed the connection, and 2, I love to give back. So connect with me. I'd love to hear from you. And if you have any more questions for me, connect and ask, because I'm always here.